I saw something on social media today, actually. I was looking on my Twitter feed, and somebody did a side-by-side picture of me and Dennis, and they were like, I don't know what it is, but I have a really hard time believing that Glenn Howerton plays Dennis Reynolds because they look and feel like totally different people.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time I've ever heard somebody articulate that. And I actually kind of stopped and I actually thought about that for a second. And I was like, yeah, they're really like, I think down to like just subtle changes in the facial structure that actually happen when I drop into that character. And it's the same thing, I think, with Jack. You know, a pompous person's resting face is very different than my resting face. And I think so. I think just something as simple. For me, it's whatever the character's motivation is. Not to get too actory, but I mean it's kind of basic actory shit. But like whatever the character's motivation is, usually with a comedy, it's so extreme and so fucking insane and ridiculous that if I can drop into really feeling that desire to achieve whatever that ridiculous goal is, that's really all it takes for me to drop into character. But there is a switch for sure from me to Jack, or from me to Dennis. It's really just about like, okay, now I have to fight for this insane, goal of my character. And usually that's kind of all it takes.
Do you have any school experience, teacher like memories or anything that like you drew from I mean, I don't know if there's any teacher out there like quite like Jack, but was there anybody who stuck out like you're emulating or trying to mimic from your actual school days?
Not really.
Probably for the best. That probably means your schooling experience was good.
Your schooling experience was weird as hell. You bounced around all over the place,
you were
right?
Everywhere, man.
Yeah, I was all over the place. And I had, my fair share of good teachers and bad teachers. But I always, it was always important to me from the beginning to be able to understand what it is that Jack actually brings to the equation that's positive, even though it's on the surface. I'm playing a character who's like no to everything, which is the exact opposite of kind of the way most things work dramatically. You kind of need a character to be like, yes, let's try that. Yes, let's do that. Instead, my character's like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And I'm not going to do this. And, so it was important for me if I was going to come in with the sort of almost an anti-intention as a character, that I had to know, that what he was going to bring to the table, whether he knew it or not, was that he was inadvertently going to be teaching these kids some adult life lessons just by virtue of the fact that they were going to get a dose of reality that they'd never experienced before. And a little bit of like, sort of like hardcore, brutal honesty from someone in a way that they probably weren't used to from their parents or their teachers. So, so in a way I was like, they are learning something from him. And it was good for me. And I needed to attach myself to that in order to kind of latch on to the more positive side of the character.
What's the worst thing that ever happened to you in school?
What is the worst thing that ever happened to me in school? Nobody's ever asked me that. What is the worst
like
thing?
One time I was in gym class doing the sit-ups, and there's like 3, 2, 1, go, and I farted in front of the whole class. That was very traumatic for me.
Yeah, I it's funny. I feel like there are definitely people who are like high school kids who just rip farts and they think it's hilarious and they're cool with it.
I was not that guy.
I wasn't either.
I was mortified. I was like, no, bodily function in front of people. Fuck.
Totally. I can relate to that. I did not become fully secure with myself and who I was until I was like 30, sadly.
I'm 32. I'm not there yet.
Still going strong.
Yeah.
I had Mrs. Pillsbury make us clean out her mini fridge, which was just full of Twinkies, while she sat on her desk. This is probably third.
This sounds like a script. Mrs. Pillsbury cleaning out her Twinkies.
I forget exactly. It was between 3rd and 5th grade. And she sat on her desk, very unladylike, if you know what I mean by this, in a skirt. She was a hefty lady. She looked every bit of Mrs. Pillsbury. And it was the first time I'd ever seen pubic hair. And it scars me to this day. It was a jungle. It was awful. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're like, don't. That's not what I want to picture. I don't want to. That's
Nope.
She just made us clean her fridge, Glenn. We weren't doing
Slave labor.
It was worse than what Jack does. Like he was like, "What are you talking about? You want us to just clean your fridge in your classroom? Why do you have a fridge in the classroom, by the way?" It was awful.
Yeah, right.
Talk about a hardcore dose of truth, man. Shit.
I want to think. I wish I had more time to. I wish I had an answer for you because I'm sure there's like shitty things that happen.
Well, listen.
All right, what was your worst subject?
History, probably. I just didn't get it. I just didn't give a about history. Anytime somebody started talking about what somebody did in some year, I was like, I don't care. I couldn't figure out how that related to my life now and what I needed in this moment. I was like,
and then they say,
to me, like
history repeats itself. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Or
I
you
don't
won't
care.
you won't learn, like, if you'll make the same mistakes of the history of the past. Like, I didn't even think of enslaving people.
Yeah.
That thought never even crossed my mind if you didn't bring it up. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. Yeah. I don't know, man. And I actually liked school. I really did. I mean, I loved math. I loved science.
Did
all that
you?
stuff.
Let me ask you about math real quick because I don't want to take up too much more time. But we did a challenge here today: 40 third grade level multiplication questions in a minute. How many of those do you think you could get? Or if you could get them all, how fast do you think you would do it?
I honestly don't know. I don't know.
This guy got 22 and then he ran out of time.
I got 23. I ran out of time. To be clear, I wasn't told there was a time limit, so I was taking my time counting on my fingers. I didn't realize there was only a minute limit, and I got a very failing
like
grade.
if I asked you right now, what's 9 times 7? Do you know the answer?
63.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
So you'd be good.
that was a show-off move right there.
Mr. Fancy Pants over here.
I'm so bad at math that I got a perfect score on my SAT writing, and I still had really bad SAT scores.
Yep, that sounds about right.
I don't know if we have time for it, but I love shit like that. I always just really like math. To me was like a fun game. It was like a puzzle. It was like a puzzle with numbers. Like it was fun to me. I understand why other people didn't like it. It was just I loved it. It's weird, man. I loved math and science and kind of hated history and literature.
See, that's crazy. I had you pegged the exact
total opposite. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the art type.
Yeah, most artsy types are a little bit more into like history and literature, and I hated that stuff. I'm also, I think, I mean, I want to say I also just don't. I like things. I don't know. Like it's almost like history and like reading a book is just too much of a damn commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like golf. Like I can't play golf. Like I fucking can't stand golf. I'm like it's too slow. It's too fucking slow. I want to hit. This is what I want to do. I want to hit the ball and sprint to my ball. And I don't want to wait for somebody behind me to hit the ball. I want to sprint to my ball. I want to hit it. I want to sprint to the ball again and hit it again. And I want it to be over in 6 holes.
You know who you need to golf with? Mark Wahlberg. That's how Wahlberg golfs. He treats it like cardio. He hits it and
he wakes up at like 3 a.m. to do it.
Yeah, I swear
That's
to God.
legit how he plays.
Yeah. So there was like an Esquire piece on him or whatever, like 2 years ago, and it was like
that's his life hack, right?
The person showed up, the interviewer showed up at the course, being like, "Hey, I'm here to interview Mark Wahlberg." They're like, "He just started his round," and he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna sit here for 4 hours." And they go, "No, he only plays 9. He sprints the whole thing. He'll be back here in 45 minutes."
Legend. That's fucking great. That's the way to do it, man. That's the way to fucking do it. Like I'm all for that. Although I will say even 9 is too much for me. But again, you just kind of
I like it.
That's the only way to make yourself. That's the only way to get back to the clubhouse and drink your beer.
Yeah.
So you gotta do the 9. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're backtracking.